So throw this poll up there right now, because Raw was certainly different than Clash of the Castle. Was Monday Night Raw better than Clash of the Castle? Did you get more enjoyment out of watching Raw last night than the PLE on Saturday? That poll's going up right now. And by the way, if you want to vote in the poll and you're watching elsewhere, make sure you are subscribed to the WrestlingMatchShow.com. And you can vote in the poll exclusively on our YouTube community page. So please go do that right now. We'd love to know what you're thinking. Was Raw better than Clash at the Castle? I think you'll pick up by how I talk about Raw than what I thought. But Raw, with a surprise, Seth Rollins back already. Much needed, I would have to say. And he comes back, and there he is. And I think people thought he cut his hair. He cut it down a little bit, I guess, but whatever. Typical Seth Rollins look. And Priest comes out to confront him. And in what has to feel a bit babyface-ish, yes, he gives Seth a title shot. Just hands it over in a display of respect, in a display of I want to prove I'm a great champion. I think that was an interesting choice, because he threw out that challenge. And Seth even said, like, we're similar in so many ways. We both came from a dominant group. We both won Money in the Bank. We both cashed in at Mania. And then, like, Seth made it very simple, like, yeah, but I found my balls or something like that. And I was like, okay, I don't think it was a weird line. It was a very weird throwback to a previous era type line. But I thought Priest just like saying, like, and Seth's like, what is this setup? Like, and he was trying to be smart about it. And he's saying, well, no, nobody even knows I'm out here. Well, I'm pretty sure they know you're out here because they can watch the screens. But it was an interesting presentation of Priest. And, there has been thought that he'll turn babyface at some point, and he's got his supporters. And he did. When he first came to Raw a few years back, he, like, didn't lose the whole year. And was pretty damn over. It's what happened to him in NXT. He got over, surprisingly, at least to me, to a pretty strong level. I still feel like there are times when I listen to Priest on the mic and the confidence dips just for a little bit here and there. Either he gets lost in his words or whatever it may be. But there is times when I feel like there's a dip there as it comes to Priest. Not the worst thing in the world, something he can correct. But when you're in there with guys who are so supremely confident on the mic at all times. I thought it happened with Drew. I thought it happened a little bit with Seth. You guys are saying, so far, 100% Raw was better than Clash of the Castle. But we set up Seth Rollins and Priest for the World Championship at Money in the Bank, and it's only a couple weeks away. So Seth seems to be totally good to go. I thought he would take more time, but I guess because he had time before Mania, he didn't do that much at Mania. I mean, he did, but he also, like, didn't, because he was done right after that. And now he's back. So I hope he got enough rest. I hope he's good to go. Grace Stambino, yes, these are my vacation shows here in Montreal. We'll be doing this on Wednesday and Thursday, also at 10 a.m. Eastern. And something to keep an eye on, we will be moving time slots next week, but we'll get to that and sticking to that time slot. I'll throw this out there. It's Seth versus Priest happening too soon, kind of happening out of nowhere. Obviously, we saw, Seth was out there technically when Priest cashed in Money in the Bank. I think he was getting help to the back, but he was out there, and Priest kind of acknowledged that. Now, there's not a hell of a lot of story here other than, well, you were the champ. You were a great champ. I didn't get to face you. I wanted to face you, so now I'll face you. Priest at the presser was very much, people say I was going to be a transitional champ. I couldn't beat Drew. Look what they are now. He was angry. And I think he was pissed off because his knee was bothering him. And thank goodness, by the way, Priest is okay. That would have been a real bummer if he also would have gone down. Really testing the depth of Monday Night Raw. Let's move on to Braun Strowman and Chad Gable, because this was a Strowman squash of I don't know if it really mattered that much based on what happened the rest of the night. But Strowman gets the win, and there was that spot with Strowman and Tozawa, and he threw Tozawa into Gable. So Gable, after the match, blames Tozawa and slaps him. And slaps him that Otis snapped and turned around. And I will go back to this. Once again, if you don't know, Corpus Christi, terrible crowd. Terrible. Like, if you would have picked it ahead of time, it would have been the last place to do the Otis moment. And they were up for it, which might be the most telling thing about this entire story, that the historically worst crowd in professional wrestling got the Otis moment, at least the first, real big one, and they were there for it. So the worst crowd in professional wrestling got the Otis shove, and what a sell by Gable on top of it, and they were there. And they sold it big on commentary, and then Otis took his friends and he left, or as he called them last week, his family. And Chad was left going, what the hell? And I thought about how they were going to do this, when they were going to pull the trigger, because it's not about just this. We know we're going to get Chad and Otis at some point in some kind of match. That's really where the physicality's got to go up a notch. Now, I do wonder, how do they get there? Is this a singles match at Money in the Bank? As I talked about a singles match at SummerSlam. I wanted this to be over for the IC title. It's not. We'll get to the IC title. That went in a completely different direction as the night went on. But Chad and Otis now, how does it work its way in? Are they both in Money in the Bank qualifiers? Do one of them get in? I talked about that idea of, if they were still together, which it looks like that is over with. That's done. Great Stambino. Did anyone think Otis was going to World's Strongest Slam Chad? Is that the move? Because Chad hasn't done, there's like this wrestling logic to it where Chad hasn't done anything but slap, right? It's just slaps. There's no punches. There's no big moves. He hasn't dropped Otis. He slapped Tozawa. He's been more of an emotional bully than anything else. So do you save something bigger for a match or something? That is what I would, the World's Strongest Slam would get a big reaction. But it's almost like tit for tat. It's got to match what Chad has done, at least physically. That might be what they're thinking. I'm not sure. I think I'm okay with what they did last night. It was a big shove. You want to lead to more. But Chad hasn't done anything other than some slaps. Otis shoved him. Slap only. I'll throw this out there. We'll put up this poll, but is SummerSlam the right time for Chad and Otis? But I'll throw this just generally into the chat right now. Would you have liked to seen more from Otis in terms of what if last night is the official end of Alpha Academy, and it very well may be, would you like to have seen more from Otis? Should there have been more to it? Hey, this is Matt Camp. Thanks for checking out one of our recent clips from the wrestling mat. Why is someone so close to The Rock kind of throwing Cody under the bus?
Yeah, a lot of people won't engage with Jim Cornette. I did, just because I have a mark for Jim Cornette. And
Please subscribe right now. Hit the like and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And I think you should listen to your TV partner. Let me tell you about WWE and a little insight. More subscribers means more content. And make sure you follow us on social media at WrestlingMat23 on both Twitter and Instagram.